Okay. Let me see. We'll test this. Go. Should be live now. Yep. We are live. Okay. Here we go. Cool. And then you can share it on your page so then people can see it on your page as well.
Let me see here.
Cool. I'm glad this works well.
Sounds good. Let me see.
Lost your picture though.
You lost my picture?
Yeah, we lost your picture.
Okay, hold on. I'll come back.
We're getting there.
Okay, this is weird.
You can share it on your page later. It's still showing up on Facebook too, so.
Okay.
Let's see. So you need to let's see. Are you on that the StreamYard?
Yeah, I was, but there you go. Let me just share it really quick.
Okay.
There you go. And it's on my page and coming back to you.
Okay. Yeah, because I can hear you. I just don't see the picture. Here we go. Awesome. Oops. Let's see. He got kicked off. Hold on one second, guys. We will fix this. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Technical difficulties. Hang on, guys. First time using this on StreamYard. So, still kind of testing things with it. But we'll get there. Okay, let's see. So let's just wait a second. And hey, Denny. Hey, Robert. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Scott. Oh, here's Sonny. Okay. There we go. We got you back.
Yep, I'm back.
Awesome. Okay. So everyone can hear us good? Awesome. Cool. So I will go ahead and start. It's a pleasure getting to speak with you, first of all. And I've heard a lot about you. I am a tactical response alumni, so I am friends with James Yeager. And I've been following you and your wife, Megan, and I've been watching your Facebook posts, and I am so informed. I love reading you and your wife's Facebook posts. They're so interesting, and they really make me think outside the box, and I really like it. So first of all, okay, your last name, let me get this right, Sonny Puzikas.
Puzikas, that's correct.
Puzikas, got it right, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself and tell people who you are.
Well, let's see here. I'm a 50-year-old straight Caucasian male, legal immigrant from former Soviet Union, living in Texas now. Married, generally of Christian beliefs. Pro-gun, pro-life. Let's see what else. I do have a little bit of a background in military service and other violence-related activities.
Mm-hmm.
For the past 20 plus years, my profession is basically teaching people how to deal with violence.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that's about it. I live quiet life here in the countryside of East Texas. We have our own farm and training facility here,
Mm-hmm.
further away from chaos. And I guessing by the public reaction, I guess I have tendency to piss people off. But a couple of times I worked really hard about trying to make myself feel sorry about it, but I didn't succeed. So I'll just continue pushing the buttons, I guess. Yeah, and I don't do it to push the buttons. It's just I
You
find it
speak up.
interesting. I find it interesting that you know we adults in general we should be grown up enough to be able to handle disagreements.
And have
But
civil conversations. Mm-hmm.
but I'm finding it's not the case, especially in a little bit more stressful times when stuff becomes a little bit darker, perception becomes a little bit more, uh, fatalistic. People seem
Right.
to they're unable to handle disagreement. It's pretty much if you disagree on small point with them, it's like you the enemy of the human race. And
Yeah, it really is. It's people just get pissed off with you speaking your mind and standing up for what you think's right, but you just got to push through. And like you said, a lot of people don't know how to or just don't want to have civil conversations, and it's sad, you know?
and even passionate conversation between people disagreeing, it can still be, like you said, civil. You know what I
It
mean? We can
can.
be passionate about it. We can even use stronger words. That does not mean that I see the person on the opposing side as a enemy and worthy of living. But
Right.
it seems like a lot of people, that's how they see this. And it's I'm wondering if stupidity is more dangerous virus than the corona.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So you are a former Russian Spetsnaz. Did I say that correctly?
That is correct. Actually,
Spetsnaz
Soviet Spetsnaz. I served in the days of Soviet Union.
in the Soviet Union operator. You're a system of practitioner and educator, current gunfighter, firearm educator, and you experienced the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Uh, I've been involved with anything violence related since about age of 6. I was a very skinny kid, born into a mixed family. My mother was Russian, my father was Lithuanian. They
Okay.
both have passed since then. But I was born in Lithuania, and Lithuanians, how would I say, they're extremely nationalistic, and extremely they have an extreme dislike of Russians. So being 50% Russian, it was fun growing up. And
Um,
so at the age of 6, I saw my first movie with Bruce Lee, and that was pretty much the beginning and the end of the story. Nothing else really interested me since then. It became my hobby at first.
uh-huh.
It became passion. It became uh, something that I wanted to find the end that at the end of the light at the end of that tunnel. Then
Mm-hmm.
it became business, and it sounds cheesy, but it became kind of way of life.
Yeah, it's your passion and you got to go after it. That's
Right.
awesome. So you spent a number of years, I did some research on you. You spent a number of years in military service, physical security, personal protection, training, and consulting related to security. And you are involved with Russian weapon systems, and then you're a also involved with Russian martial arts.
Yes. As I said, I've been in martial arts my whole life, pretty much, with exception of first 6 years. uh, I I started very very wide plethora of martial arts, from Southeast Asian to European arts
Wow.
to jiu-jitsu to judo to and for the past I would say good 20 years since I got exposure to Russian approach to fighting in the military. But
Mm-hmm.
since immigrating to the States, I really wasn't thinking that I'll be able to find anyone who teaches it, but I found a gentleman in Canada and been studying under him for many years. And after some time, he basically, uh, I guess, pronounced me to be an instructor. And I've been teaching that approach since. I'm no longer part of any organization or association or whatnot. I just do my thing. And but everything I do, I no longer call Russian martial art. I just call it my forward training concepts.
Uh-huh.
I will give credit where it's due because it is good 80% of it is directly inspired, related, and direct following of what I learned to Russian martial arts, as some people refer it systema.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, your background is just incredible. So let's get into what's going on currently, obviously, with the corona pandemic. So, obviously, right now, people are dying. Everyone is freaking out. We have the economy shut down. We have people suffering from the virus and from the economic collapse. We have freedom versus control, and people are feeling like their constitutional freedoms are being ignored.
You know, here's the thing, and I know it's a lot of fun to talk about how this virus came, where it came from. Is it natural? Is it engineered?
Hmm.
Who's to blame? What is really the big picture? Is this the pretext for wealth redistribution, financial reset, one world? Whatever people want to talk about. Here's the thing: most of these things we mere mortals will never know.
Right.
We can guess, we can pontificate, we can argue, we can be angry at each other. Some people will call us conspiracy theorists, will call others naive,
Hmm.
slaves of the state. Uh, None of it's going to make a difference. Uh, in situations like that, here's what I learned when I've been to unpleasant places doing unpleasant things.
Right.
You have to take care of the immediate circle. Take care of
Hmm.
yourself. Take care of your loved ones, of your family. Do what you can do in your immediate community, be it a neighborhood, a village, a town, uh,
Hmm.
your homeowners association, your apartment complex, whatever.
Hmm.
Because all this global thinking, all it does, it steals your time, it steals your energy, it makes you depressed.
That's
Turn
true.
off the damn, turn off the damn news.
Hmm.
Turn off the damn news because it's
Fake news.
if we haven't learned yet that nothing but lies comes out of that box, maybe it is time to learn now. As far
Exactly.
as what to do with this, I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, but
Hmm.
having been pretty good at math, I'm looking at the way numbers are being presented, and I cannot help myself but think that things are being manipulated. Because
Hmm.
in the cases of total deaths, they present the big number. US now has the most deaths and the most infections.
Right.
Uh, they only present per capita numbers when they go how many people have been tested in Korea, let's say South Korea versus the US. But they
Hmm.
don't present the death numbers per capita in US because all of a sudden US would be at the lower end of the graph.
Right.
So when you look at that and the whole scare tactic and the whole agenda of scaring the shit out of people, you have to ask yourself why it's being done.
Hmm.
It's this whole because we care about people, because this is about future of the nation. Let me tell you something. Whether 100,000 or 500,000 people die, when this nation comes out of what's being done to it now, it's not going to be pretty.
No, it's not.
But here's the difference: unless some magical power, some mythical power was able to enforce a Stalin years complete lockdown of the country, which in this country, by all means, by any stretch of imagination, it is simply impossible. It's impossible. You can't do that. People say, well, people need to wise up. Shut up. Nobody cares about what you have to say about that. You need to be objective. It's simply not going to happen. If some
Right.
power decides to try to force it, we will have a war.
Mm-hmm. Because
Numbers of that will far exceed any virus, any famine, anything that we've ever seen.
yeah,
So the choice has to be made. You know what I mean? And it's a hard choice. Some people will say, well, what would you choose that if it was your grandma? That's virtue signaling statement. I'm sorry, that's virtue signaling statement, stating that somehow you are more caring than the person who also cares about how we're gonna come out of this on the other side.
right. And that's a common response of what a lot of people are even telling me when I speak out. They're like, well, what if this is your grandma? And that's a very common response, what people say.
You know, how here's the thing. I think maybe it's human nature, maybe it's just overinflated egos, but I think more and more people, they know they're not better. They know they're not more caring. They know they're not more compassionate, but they
Right.
like to freaking try to prove it to themselves by virtue signaling this in public through social media. And
Mm-hmm.
that makes me sick. It's just because I care about business and individual liberties and U.S. Constitution does not mean by any stretch of imagination that I don't care about your grandma. It
Right.
doesn't. They're not mutually exclusive. And
Mm-hmm.
people presenting this BS, I'm sorry, I'm not saying I'm gonna unfriend them or
Right.
all these other terrible social media things that you can do. I will unfriend you. Be afraid. Uh, but I'm pretty sure that after this is all over, I'm gonna remind them that they were willing to give up what this country was found upon
Exactly.
to have an illusion of safety.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me tells me one thing: we will have another crisis, probably more severe than this one, whether it's going to be with this virus or something else. what if
You're
we
right.
have mass what if we have mass shooting that's 10 times bigger than Beslan school that happened in Russia years ago?
Right.
Are these the same people that are pro-gun people now, pro-Second Amendment people? Are they going to be saying the same thing for the future? Everybody
Exactly.
has to give up guns. Where does
Yeah.
it stop? Where does it stop?
Exactly. I just posted something on my social media. So basically, we all know there's good and evil in this world. But to me, evil isn't always necessarily evil. Sometimes it's simply disguised as pushing an agenda. And unfortunately, that's using a horrible, sad crisis to do so. And that's kind of what I believe with this.
Well, there's it's in world politics, in geopolitics, in manipulating in social
Hmm.
engineering. Crisis and tragedy was always the most profitable tool because this is how you make money,
Right.
and this is how you take more control.
Exactly.
So people at the top, and look, I'm going to say something controversial, and some people may dislike it because
Go
I'm
for
actually I'm actually probably going to say something nice about Mr. Orange One. The Orange Man bad.
it.
If you listen to what he said, he puts out the guidelines, social distancing and all this and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Did he put out an order to ticket people that don't wear face masks? No. Did he put out an order to ticket and arrest people that are out after 8 p.m. curfew? No. Who did that? Those are local politicians, mayors, council members, governors. You know what?
Exactly.
I will tell this to these a-holes if any of them are watching. Election
Hmm.
is coming.
It is.
You made those decisions, not the Orange Man bad made those decisions. You showed your freaking face of who you are while you're claiming to care about people. You showed who's going to be the tyrants if you are given power. Your time is up.
It is. It's about control, and you're right. It's local.
Yep.
It
And it's
really
it's
is.
to me it's very interesting to see because it's almost like you go like people say Trump is dumb and he's not smart. I, I don't know, as you probably saw that one gentleman that used to be associated or still is, I don't know, with tactical response, that called me an asset to Russian government and all that stuff
I did
recently.
see that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but you know, I'm watching Vladimir Putin, whom I consider the greatest politician of the past 100 years. and he has not said anything like insulting, negative, or truly disparaging about Trump.
Right.
I tend to pay attention to that man. He's ruthless, he's smart, and he's very, very good judge of character. Very good judge of character. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, I know it's maybe wishful thinking, but I'm going, maybe there is some kind of a game being played using this tragedy that's happening as an opportunity
Yep.
to change things for something. I hope that's what it is. I'm not holding my breath, but I do have hope. But I think whether it's planned or it's accidental or it's just naturally evolving, for the most part, it's the local politicians, little mayors, little wannabe kings,
It is.
governors that showed their true face to what they like to say American people. They showed who they are. They showed how they're going to act in crisis.
Exactly. It's truly troubling to see all these different cities all over the US and just different things happening, how our constitutional liberties and freedoms are being violated. Like in my own city, St. Charles, Missouri, outside of St. Louis, that's where I live. We had a St. Charles County executives just came out into the media and said basically, if these people the sick people that are quarantined, if they do not obey the quarantine rules and they do not abide by that, he will somehow put anklet bracelets on these people so that the government, so they can locally track where these people go.
Well, redcoats like that need to be reminded that, you know, look, I lived here for over half of my life now. I consider
Mhm.
myself as much American as I consider myself Russian. And I tell you one thing, Holly. You know, it's tough on everybody. You know, some people have loved ones and family
Oh,
members
yeah,
and friends that are infected. Some people that I know had friends of theirs die from this virus.
me too.
Uh, I know hundreds of people that lost their assets, their businesses. Some of them will not gonna be able to
No,
rebuild. Some of them will lose their livelihood, their future, their marriages, their homes, and it's hard. But I'll tell you one thing. You know, in the past 2 weeks, people that are friends, students, some of them I've never met, the outpouring of help, I'm not ashamed to say it. You know, people send money to me because they know that our business has been hard, both farming wise and training wise, and they go
right.
like, "This is just for future training." They're not signing up for seminar. They just say, "This is for future training," but I know it's going to help you now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's touching. You know what I mean? It's you go like, man,
Absolutely.
people care. You know, at a little vegetable stand where we sell our organic vegetables and all that, you know, people buy $30 worth of product, they leave $25 tips.
Right.
You know, and that is America. This is the silent America that we don't see. We see the loud America that is minority of scared authoritarian red coat assholes screaming for more control, screaming for government controlling everything. There is a silent America. And let me tell you something, Mr. Mayors. If you wake us up, your career is over. Not just your career, probably. I, I, I believe this America still exists. I actually see it. It's still here.
I do too. Yeah. It's so what would you tell people? So obviously you've seen the collapse of the Soviet Union, you've been through it, you've seen socialism. What would you tell people here? What would you tell people like me? So I'm 30 and I see obviously I'm a conservative and I see so many people around me my age and even older just talk about socialism like they don't even know what it is first of all, and then they love Bernie and they love AOC. And what would you tell these people? I mean, you've been through it.
Here's what socialism is. For one, a lot of people are misinformed how terrible it was in Soviet Union.
Mhm.
No, we were not starving. No, there were not bread lines every day of our lives. We had food. Was selection good? Not necessary. But here's the thing, Holly. Here's what's missing. People go like, you know, we look at socialism and they had free healthcare, they had free universities, they had free this, they had free that. And
Yeah.
yeah, I will admit, our education in Soviet Union was head and shoulders, level-wise, depth-wise, above what we have public education here. That's not to be blamed on capitalism. That's to be blamed on the Prussian model of common core BS that people like Bill Gates push.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, but here's how socialism works. You know that you are screwed every day of your life. You are limited. You have no access. You have no rights. They can put you away anytime they want. They don't put that many people away. There were no mass, shipments to gulags on the trains after the Stalin was done. There wasn't. And even what was done under Stalin in many ways is exaggerated, because the archipelago of Gulag that's often quoted by very respectable people is also has exaggeration in numbers. It's not the point whether it's 1 million or 20 million dead. It's not good. It's
No.
not good. All right. But it works in a different way. We here complain about smallest breakdown in that which we feel entitled to
Mhm.
that which we used to and we take for granted.
And it's not fair mentality.
No. And there, that's your everyday of your life, that all of that is taken. But then sometimes, by the virtue of the good heart or goodwill of someone from the government, they'll throw you a freebie.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually express your views, and you celebrate that, because that's your once in a lifetime opportunity to feel free. Although that freedom is not what you got, it was given to you to freaking trick you. That, see, we do that for you. We good people.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to live in that society, I will strongly advise you against it, because if this implemented here, I'm going back to Russia with my wife, because there they're moving in the opposite direction of what, like you were saying, a lot of people of your and my wife's generation, you both millennials,
Yeah.
which is very rare, having two millennial ladies that have views that us Gen Xers would go like, those youngsters don't understand. You guys do,
We
and
do.
and that's good. But you know, if I was big official with the access through MSNBC, CNN, and Fox, I would say, America, don't try socialism. You will be sorry, and you will be sorry for decades and generations to come,
Yeah.
because it is not undone quickly. Socialism is not undone quickly. Trust me, you will want to undo it. You will.
Would you
Is
say,
this? Sorry about that. Go ahead.
oh, sorry, would you agree that socialism puts everyone on the same level, obviously? So there's no opportunity, there's no way to get ahead in life. Obviously, entrepreneurs, it dies.
Well, no, entrepreneurship exists when it's sanctioned by people in power.
Right. People in power.
And who will they sanction? They sanction their close friends, from whom they're also going to make part of the profit. They're going to get a
Mm-hmm.
cut into it, and so forth. So it's basically a very, very small part at the very top is what you have is extreme crony capitalism. But everyone else has to live under socialism or imaginary communism oppression.
Right.
So the ruling class up there, they do have their little villas on the Black Sea, and their little private jets and a couple of Rolls Royces in the garage, and they eat
Sure.
black caviar with a freaking $400 champagne bottle every night.
While everyone
But
else is on the same playing field.
but the rest of us, like my father, God rest his soul, it took him 2 monthly salaries to buy me one pair of Levi's 501 jeans.
Wow.
So America, if this is your dream for your future, wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Where do you think our current just everything or like society or economy, where do you think that this is heading? Because you see little, it may not be total socialism like Russia, obviously, but you see little bits here and there of our freedoms being taken away, and you see these corrupt politicians. What, in your opinion, where do you think we're heading?
Do you really want to hear my opinion, Holly?
I do.
Okay. Some people will probably refer to this as extreme views, as I don't know. I really don't care. I don't think elections, I'm not saying elections are meaningless. I'm not. But I don't think in the big picture, because of the great experiment of the past 30 years of what's been done to education system, what's been done through social engineering, what's been done to mass media and indoctrination of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think this country will have a reset, and it's not going to be a soft reset through elections.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want it? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I've seen things like that. They're not pleasant. They're terrible. Many people get hurt. Many people die on both sides of the spectrum. It's not pretty. It's
Right.
not going to be something like big battlefields or whatnot. No, you probably can more look into a picture of 7 to 8 years of something like Northern Ireland, Belfast on steroids for about 8 years. Churches being blown up, cars being blown
Oh
up,
yeah.
snipers on the rooftops, insurgency. If you think that people in this country are ready for 7 or 8 years of that, especially those who are asking for socialism, whose furthest planning goes like which restaurant I'm going to eat dinner to tonight, they're not doing so good these days, are they? Because their restaurants closed.
No. Yeah. It's completely it's sad and it's scary. And I just want to say first off that I'm very thankful for all the first responders, for all the nurses, for all the doctors, helping people. I'm not putting them down at all. I just want to give recognition to them, but I also want to give recognition to I'm a small business owner myself, as well as you. And there's a lot of people that just unfortunately aren't going to make it. And it's sad. You see chains being shut down, restaurant chains and
Yep.
big businesses, and you see, CEOs stepping down. It's just crazy what's going on. And it's just, I never would have thought that I would have
Yep.
been seeing all this.
I drove through downtown Dallas on the weekend, going to the little produce stands where we're selling our organic vegetables, and I saw
Uh-huh.
the one of the staple nightclubs in Dallas being dismantled. Basically, they were taking out the furniture, the stereo equipment, with a sign on the wall that building is available for rent. That club has been there for 12 years or so.
Wow.
And I know nightclub is not a big deal. I mean, it's not like
Right.
we're missing, at least me not, maybe there are people that do. It's not like I'm missing entertainment or whatnot. I haven't had cable or satellite for a number of years, so I don't care about it anyway. But
I
I
don't
don't
know.
hear too many people complaining about not seeing enough celebrities on TV or basketball or football. So in some way, maybe there is something to it. I drove yesterday to drop off a couple boxes of produce for people that ordered produce, because we do home deliveries now. And I
Uh-huh.
drove through neighborhoods, and I don't think I've ever seen so many people walking in a little park outside of neighborhoods with
Yes.
their kids. You know what? Maybe this is at least something good's gonna come. Good
Something
something
good.
Something's gonna come out. People maybe will start reading more books. Maybe people will start going more to support local farmers and not big chains. Maybe
Sit down
people
with
will start paying attention to their local businesses that are homegrown and not some big ass chain coming from some lobbyist in Washington D.C.
exactly.
Maybe something is gonna come out of it.
People sitting down for family dinner,
Yeah,
rather than just out and about.
yeah,
Um, I definitely see that.
yeah.
So,
So
although our parks, unfortunately, here in St. Charles, well, St. Louis, are being shut down, so we're limited with that. But what completely I've done my own research, and what completely floors me is the unemployment rate during the Great Depression was 24.9%. Well, the unemployment rate now, due to this pandemic, is 32%, and that's completely. It's hard to say, but it's almost like, what do you do? Because I'm not a medical profession, obviously, but what do you do? Because do you look at the virus or do you look at the economy? Which is going to turn out worse? And I mean, they're both bad, obviously.
Yeah. Here's the thing with the virus. A lot of people will say, well, yeah, and look at stories being shared through social media.
Oh, yeah.
Some young fella gets the coronavirus and dies. It spreads like a wildfire to trying to make a point that, see, even young people can die.
Right.
Guess what? I have a news. Even an armed, trained person can die in a robbery against a schmuck without any skills. It happens.
It does.
It
That's
happens.
life, unfortunately.
It's people are trying to see this. They think and they're trying to see things in absolutes. No,
Mm.
there are no absolutes, but the numbers are pretty clear. Up until very recently, the average age of person who has died related to coronavirus, not necessarily directly from coronavirus, because I read somewhere that only 12% of death certificates from Italy of people that were given numbers that they died from coronavirus, actually only 12% of death certificates stated that coronavirus is the cause,
Yep.
because they had so many comorbidity factors coming up with
Hmm.
cancers, Alzheimer's, and all the other stuff. So again, number
Diabetes.
manipulation, we all know it's being done. Regardless, is it still a dangerous disease? Yes, it is dangerous disease. Uh, Ebola is much more dangerous disease. Ebola's mortality rate is easily eclipsing 50%. I didn't see such panic during that. Well, we didn't have the same numbers. Well, it wasn't spread throughout the world and all that stuff. No,
Right.
this is being manipulated as it's never been before, and it's being
It is.
completely politicized.
It
This
is.
whole tragedy has been taken as a tool of political manipulation to change things, and
Great fear.
people that are behind this and people that are actively participating in this. I don't like to say things like that because it sounds like old Stalinist years, but in my opinion, they should be at the end of this against the wall.
Hmm.
And
I
that
mean,
includes
even,
a lot of people in journalism.
yep. Yeah, that's funny because I actually went to school for journalism. That's my undergraduate, and I was a news reporter. And I saw firsthand. I got out in 2014. I saw firsthand how how manipulative they are, and how they skew the facts, and how something that may be happening in town just because it has to do with gun related, they don't want to cover it. So
Yeah.
yeah, yep, I see that. And going back to like the COVID related deaths, it even says on there, the CDC government guidance for coding, it even says any death where the disease caused or is assumed to have caused or contributed to death. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously you have all this terminally skewed data too.
Yeah, if I had corona and I inhaled some chemical or whatnot, I would have been listed as a corona death.
Right. So the
And
data is very, very skewed there.
that is, and that's not to make light of this virus. It's not. It's pretty
Yeah,
serious. I'm not saying it's not. But I think the fear mongering is being engineered.
it
It's
is.
being engineered for some purpose that we can guess what it is, but it's certainly not for good purposes.
Right. It's not. I think another factor too of this is they're trying to push, obviously for the gun stores to be shut down. Here where I live in St. Charles, I actually do work for a local gun range, Ultimate Defense, and we're doing our best to stay open, follow the CDC guidelines and everything, and social distancing and all that. But we're staying open. But again, that's I believe that's our constitutional right. So we're
It's
staying open.
actually it's actually above constitutional right. It is a inalienable, I think is the word, right? I'll
Yes.
call it God-given right,
Yes, it is.
because that is a right to life.
It is
Defending your
for
life comes
self-defense,
in the
protection.
category of right to life. And defending my life objectively in today's society, in today's environment, has to involve one of these numbers. Why? Because bad guys have it. It's that
Exactly.
simple. There's nothing more to it. And this argument to me, it's like, I, I think it's not even worth having with people where people go, why do you need guns? Because all of a sudden, a lot of anti-gun people, they trying to buy guns, and which I'm glad they do. I just hope they don't do something stupid with them, because
Right.
I think in about 3 or 4 months, we're going to see a lot of cheap guns in the pawn shops. You know.
Yeah. A lot of people are waking up through this crisis as well. And, just that like ultimate defense are the guns and the ammo are just the sales are skyrocketing. I mean, people are scared about obviously increased crime because of this
Mhm.
epidemic. People like home invasion break-ins, just fear, anxiety, just the need for self-defense too. And to tell someone that they cannot go to a local gun shop to, pick up more ammo or buy a gun because of what's going on, it's not right. And
No.
I'm glad to see these gun shops being open. I know New York obviously is not so lucky, but
Yeah. Well, uh, you know, some people say it's, here's the thing. Uh, some of us are dealt certain cards, whether it's, not everything is under your control. So many people in our community, when we tell people get out of California, get out of New York, we have to be objective about it. People have family ties, people have work ties, people have so many things. It's not that simple and easy for people uproot and move to freer states. It's best we can do is, people say we need to educate, we need to do to a certain degree. Yes, this is what we're doing now. We're talking, we're spreading a little bit of education to a small
exactly.
audience, and hopefully we'll stick, although I'm assuming that most people watching probably already have, as far as self-defense, gun ownership, and second amendment and all that, they probably have
Sure.
similar views to begin with. But God willing, this will be shared and someone anti-gun will see it, and maybe, just maybe, small chance it will make sense.
Maybe we'll,
But
yeah, wake them up, their lives will change.
in times like that, this is not time for education has passed.
Yeah.
This is time to take care of your own. This is time to take care of what's close to you and that which is reachable to you.
I
This is
mean,
no longer for each person sitting in a bum F town, Texas or Missouri, to spend days and hours pontificating about global implications and how to save the world.
mhm.
Take care of yourself. Get your family good food. Try
Yep.
to make business work somehow. Correspond with other people, see what they do, help them if they need to, they will help you. There's a lot of good people out there.
There
They are
are.
they are caring people. There's a lot more than we give it credit to. And maybe this is time to get to know your neighbors. Maybe if you live closer to rural area, go out there and find out that, oh my gosh, look at this, I have a couple ranches nearby. Can I maybe in the pinch talk to this guy and buy a quarter of a cow?
Exactly. Help each other succeed. Hmm.
Yeah, help each other succeed. Let that guy make some money, and you're gonna put a healthy meat in your freezer, which you can feed your kids, teach them how to cook. That way, that girl, when she grows up and starts getting dating and married and all that stuff, she's not incompetent woman who can only go to Taco Bell or McDonald's to bring her man something to eat, but she actually learns to cook. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Make the best out of this. Make the best out of this. Just sitting and pontificating about, global cabal doing this and that. I mean, it's fun. It's good exercise in mental, but this is time to get very pragmatic. And I hope this is going to be one of the lessons from this crisis, that people will start thinking more pragmatically, more objectively. There are plenty of good books. Amazon still delivers if you Amazon Prime.
Yep. They
Get
do.
some good book. Read up on some Ayn Rand. Read up on some Nikolai Berdayev. Read up on freaking Dostoevsky. Read up. You know what? Pick up that Bible that your grandma had it somewhere.
Exactly.
Maybe there's a
Start reading
lesson
it.
or three there.
Hmm.
Even if you're not a religious person, I'm just saying there may be a lesson or three in there that may help you in these hard times.
There's definitely another lesson I think, which I'm figuring out too, is just not figuring out, but just realizing too with a lot of people is I love this quote. When you fail to plan, you plan to fall. So I think it's definitely important, especially during this time. I think more people are realizing that they're not prepared. They're not financially prepared. They're not mentally paired, they're not prepared, whether it's that or gun related. I think more people are waking up and realizing that.
And I think maybe, this is not the end of the world.
No.
There will be crises that will eclipse this one. So maybe now it's time to draw on the list and go like, what hit me the hardest first?
Uh-huh.
What hit me the hardest first? Mostly it's probably going to be depressing, down feeling of impending doom. Okay. How do you prepare for it?
Right.
Educate yourself, learn, read, get into some physical activity. Maybe your brain gets into these dark thoughts so much because your body is too lazy, and get to do something. Go outside and do push-ups on your lawn. It's good for you.
That's what I
You know
do.
what I mean? Your local outdoor range is closed. Good. Order yourself an $80 airsoft gun and you can shoot in your backyard to your heart's content. For $8, it's 1,000 pellets.
Yep. Make your
Put
own
up
opportunities.
put up some little aluminum plates on the 2x2s in your backyard and continue. You have a range in your backyard. Don't make excuses that it's too far and it's closed and it's quarantine and all that stuff. Find a way to get shit done.
Exactly. I love it. Your way of thinking, I'm a bodybuilder too. Your way of thinking reminds me a little bit of Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're very go after it, get it done. And I love that because that's how I am in my life. It's about being physically healthy, it's about being emotionally healthy and also being spiritually. So it's all those things. And I think that plays a big part too.
No, and this is not. I'm not preaching from the standpoint of I've done all these things. No, I realized a number of things I was underprepared. Although people think that I'm completely off the grid and all that stuff, I realized certain things that for the next one I'm gonna have, and me and my wife talked actually today.
Uh-huh.
These are the priorities: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to get another 16 yards of organic soil because we need to grow more stuff. We need to get
Right.
this done with irrigation system. We need this done with that. That way we're better prepared, and our own quality of life will improve of that. So I'm not saying that I'm out there every day doing push-ups and smiling and never thinking
Yeah.
sad thoughts about what's going on. No, business is being hit. It's hard to make the ends meet. What I'm saying is none of us wake up and say, this is the day I will give up.
Right.
Oh, at least we shouldn't. At
No.
least we shouldn't.
You
No
should never.
matter how hard, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how tough it gets,
Nope.
there are lessons in there that will make you stronger. Your shoulders are big. There's that cross to carry for a reason. You can fucking handle it.
Yeah.
You are stronger than the troubles and suffering around you. I think the
Exactly.
biggest problem, like Jordan B. Peterson says, is that in Western societies, especially, the idea is that life is about finding happiness. And as Jordan B. Peterson says, it's about finding purpose. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about happiness. Find
No.
purpose. And when you have that purpose and when you work on that purpose, that often itself is happiness.
Then you'll find happiness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is. I
Yeah.
agree. So, do you guys who are listening, do y'all have any questions that you want to ask or points that you want to bring up? I love it. Let's see. Keep busy, do something to better yourself and your family, obviously. Find a way to get shit done. Love it. Not saying don't buy ammo, but learn how to make it when you have it, when places don't have it. A lot of my friends are obviously reloading, so that's great.
That's a good skill to have. That's one of the things that I don't do, but me and my wife, we don't have any shortage of ammo. So
That's good.
no,
Yep,
but
very
it's
true.
it's 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 it's, it's something that if you find yourself to where you have inclination to have machinery and to learn to do things, by all means. And if you have extra cash laying around to buy equipment needed for loading your own ammo, do it. It's not going to be a waste. It's not going to be something that's going to burden you, and you can always sell it. It's also a good investment, especially in hard times. That
Oh yeah.
thing will triple and quadruple in its value. So that's another thing to look at. Where you're going to be after this crisis is over, and you're going to start evaluating as far as your priorities, how to prepare for the next one.
Yep.
Not only what you're going to need, what is going to be in big demand.
Exactly. So
It's
now,
not about making money, but if I have couple extra, be it gun loading, setups, ammunition loading setups, or if I have couple extra generators or whatnot, maybe in the situation of crisis, all of a sudden that generator is worth me trading it for 5 cows worth of meat
yeah,
versus two
think
thousand
about that
dollars.
opportunity.
You know what I mean? So you got to look about what is going to be of value. Okay, I'm going to make one more observation from people, about the alternative currencies such as Bitcoin and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Because people say that the dollar is fiat currency and it's going to crash and it's going to be devalued with a 2 or 3 or 5 trillion aid packages and all the other BS that's coming out. It's true. What you don't have on hand is not yours. Period. End of story. Alternative currencies, digital currencies, are under control of any man who has a power over the button, be it your internet, power, electricity, or
Yep.
whatnot, and you are left with nothing. Get from under illusion that somehow just because you're into a Bitcoin, you are free man when the world falls apart. You are free of cash and you have nothing.
But you're not free.
So
Hmm.
I'm not saying don't invest in that because it could be a good financial play for the next year. I'm not an expert in that. I don't do any alternative currencies or Bitcoins or nothing like that.
Just be
I
aware.
think skills, food,
Yep.
survivability, alternative means of generating, having power, water,
Yep.
essentials,
Self-sufficient.
having guns, having ammunition,
Absolutely.
having things of value that can be traded, whether it's gold or silver, or as we talked, generators, ammunition loading supplies, extra guns,
Yeah.
extra fuel, extra gasoline, extra diesel fuel. These are going to be commodities if and when it comes to really, really dark days.
Yeah.
Look into it.
And also, don't let this crisis, don't let them, the government officials, don't let them push, obviously, liberals push more gun control. Don't let them push more red flag laws. Don't let them push all these restrictions on us, more gun free zones.
Not a one step back, not a single step, not a high capacity magazines. Who needs a full automatic 50 caliber, 600 rounds per second with 50 clips, fully semi automatic? Everybody needs it.
Yep. Keep moving forward. You don't want to move back.
You don't want to become Western Europe where they took all those rights away, but they didn't take it all in one sweep. It was death by a
Exactly.
thousand cuts.
And
And if
that's
we
what I
allow the first cut, there will be a second cut.
and that's what I think so many people don't realize. They're not seeing they're not seeing the government use this crisis to slowly put in laws in place to try to push them through. They're not realizing that if they're putting all these again, like the 5717, the HR 5717, people need to wake up and realize that they're doing their best to try to take little here, a little here, just like you said.
Uh, what's one of my friends posted? He goes, I don't have friends that have emails that end in .gov.
Nice.
What can I say? It's a contradiction. That old cliche saying, "I'm from the government. I'm here to help."
Uh-huh.
Guys, everything good that's happening now with development of treatments, with businesses ramping up production of personal protective equipment and get all that stuff, it's not government doing, it's private enterprises, businessmen who are smart, who are quick to turn around, who are quick to adapt. It's not going shit down. They putting burdens. They don't want to use this because it hasn't been proven. The Dr. Fauci, whatever the fuck his name is. I'm sorry for my F-bomb here.
No, you're good.
Sometimes I get a little passionate about things that I have to say.
I do too. I
Oh,
get it.
he's the foremost expert. He served under 6 presidents and all that stuff. Let me ask you a question. Would you say that police commissioner who served as a police commissioner in 6 different cities from Chicago to New York is an expert on crime? Would you say that he is? No, you wouldn't. No,
Mm-mm.
he's a career man who was able to suck enough nut to maintain his warm position for 2 6 administrations. Maybe
Right.
he's a great man. Maybe he's a great doctor. I don't know. But just because you're a doctor, you don't know anything or everything. Just because I'm a soldier, I don't know everything about the war. I have certain experiences and certain battles to fight. I'm not an expert. I
Right.
know what I know. But for me to talk in these absolutes that, oh, there's not enough evidence to say that this hydrochloroquine, whatever it is, it works. Except 600 people, 690, 900% success ratio in New York, except separate study in France with 2 separate studies of 300 people, 100% success ratio. What evidence you need 20 years later, or you're going to wait for Bill Gates coming out with a mandatory vaccine? Which one is
Yep.
it?
Was just talking about that today.
Well, it's coming.
Yeah. And I for sure do not want to live in a country where we're lining up to get our mandated vaccines.
No, look, me and Megan were talking, we're going to have a child someday, and
Mhm.
some people think we are anti-vaxxers. We're not. I'm going to look at every vaccine on its merits. What does it have? What are the side
I
effects?
love
What
that.
kind of risks and all that stuff? And if I see that something like measles or smallpox, it's warranted and it's not enough risk, our
Yep.
kid will get it. Will I allow to stack 6 vaccines on an infant? Try me. See how it works for you.
I have to give a quick shout out to my mom who's listening. She raised me and my brother just like that. She made sure that if she did her research, thank you, mom. And that is why I'm as healthy as I am today. I truly believe that because she looked over both me and my brother and made sure that, not every vaccine, in my opinion, is necessary. So she exactly what you just said.
God
100%.
bless your mom. God bless your mom. Great. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there's a lot of people think that maybe everything that's going on it's somehow orchestrated for this apocalyptic end of the world. No, I don't know. I couldn't believe that government would be so competent to orchestrate it so perfectly. We all know that government is made of a lot of incompetent, lazy, delusional schmucks. Best accountants don't work for IRS. They work for rich people. Who works for IRS is people that couldn't get a job at McDonald's. So don't think that government is so competent they can do stuff. They go like, oh, our military and our intelligence competence are very competent. Are they? Let's look at the record. Weapons of mass destruction, chemical attacks in Syria, Trump collusion with Russia. Should we bring more stuff? No, they're not competent. They have certain skilled people that can do dark stuff here and there. Absolutely, no doubt about it. I know plenty of them. But to think that this is somehow perfectly orchestrated event that's coordinated from some dark hole somewhere in there, I don't know. I don't know. It's quite a bit of stretch of imagination. But
It
are
is.
they are they using it? They're absolutely using it. They're absolutely using this event. So
They are. I totally agree. That's someone asked too. So what do you think? Do you think that Trump will win?
absolutely,
Hmm. I think
absolutely.
so too.
I
Hmm.
think I. You know what? I'm looking at Trump from the very beginning. I was the guy that I cannot vote. I'm legal here, but I'm not a citizen. I'm a
Uh-huh.
I'm permanent resident.
Hmm.
Uh, so me and Megan, we were rooting for Rand Paul because
Okay.
I really like Rand Paul's idea. It's closer to libertarian ideas. It's
Uh-huh.
closer to non-interventionalism and all that stuff. But it was clear that he's not going to make it, and then obviously it was choice between Trump and Hillary, right? Well, that's a freaking no-brainer. Uh, but the way he worked on the couple of debates, I was looking and I'm going like, he's he's either so good that he's capable to play this almost mumbling guy, but he traps him into it. And then
Hmm.
watching over the last 3 years how he trapped the media, how he trapped many other people
Oh
into
yeah,
doing, I'm like, you know what? He might be the second best chess player in politics after Vladimir Putin, and that's saying a lot.
yeah.
That is
He's
saying
not
a
a
lot.
politician.
And so I don't think I don't think even with this crisis they have a chance, especially with Joseph Biden mumbling, baby licking
Oh my gosh.
idiot. Come on now. If
Yeah.
we elect that guy, if this country elects that guy, I'm moving to freaking Antarctica.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach penguins how to fight. Forget about it.
There you go. I
We're
love
gonna be we're gonna be waddling around there, without being bothered by idiots.
it. Yeah, I think this crisis again is really, I hope so, at least it's what you said, waking people up and making people more aware of how they can be more prepared in life.
I think to a certain degree, regardless, to a certain degree, there will be more people no longer laughing at the so-called preppers. To a certain degree, people will take a
Yep,
better look at how they plan their life and where they spend their means. To
absolutely.
a certain degree, you will see even more people going like, it's not so important to go out to a restaurant, but maybe it's better to buy some rice, some pastas, some healthier stuff. Put away some honey. Put away some canned goods. Put away some good protein bars. Put away some beef jerky. Maybe buy a freaking $300 deep freezer and freeze some meat and chicken and poultry and things
Right.
like that.
Have it
So
available.
I don't know. I think there will be percentage of people. Is it going to be overwhelming numbers? No, no, but it's going to be more than what we had before this crisis, and that's a small improvement. I'll take it.
Absolutely. And I think another point to take away from this too is like what you were saying, it's not so much the big government per se, it's actually the local government. So it's really pay attention to your local government, your representatives, your senators of your state. Really push and make sure that you're standing up for what you believe in, and really watch and make sure what's going on within
I
your
wouldn't
county,
be I
your
wouldn't be
city.
surprised that the message, not necessarily directly from Trump, but from people affiliated with Trump after this crisis is over, the message is going to be true at the level of local elections, state elections, county elections, and all that, where people affiliated with Trump organization and his people going to come out and start campaigning and going like, do you really want to vote for this guy again? Do you remember what he did? Do you remember how he said that he can fine you $1,000 for not wearing a mask? Maybe this is going to be the biggest change, because on the local levels, we're going to elect different people that
Yes,
hopefully are not going to be like these schmucks that all of a sudden started playing that like they are freaking Louis the 14th, in the bumfuck town, Arizona. So
right.
I I don't know, man. It can be that this is gonna turn out into a very, very unexpected outcome on local level as far as political changes.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I really appreciate you speaking with me and everyone else. And go ahead and tell people how they can get involved and how they can train with you.
Oh, how they can train with me? Well, I'm in East Texas. I'm about 2 hours east of Dallas, about 2.5 hours north of Houston. We're in the Pine Woods here. I have my training facility here called Fort Honey Badger. Uh, we do things that you will not do on pretty much any public range, certainly not NRA certified public range.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Crazy stuff, but it's okay. We do things that we try to, as much as possible, work on things that will be what you will need in real life.
Real life.
It's
Yep.
it's it's impossible to duplicate real life gunfight. It's impossible. Even doing force on force, there's still no fear of dying. There's still no certain factors that will be involved. So with that in mind, I teach people to. It's more like reverse development. Develop yourself from within. It's not about tricks, how you handle the weapon. There's much more important factors that determine how quickly you make decisions. How do you actually observe and orient and decide, and how do you gather the information versus that information being skewed by fear, by panic, by things like that. To find out what we do, you can certainly find me on this platform on Facebook, Sonny
Mm-hmm.
Puzikas, or Forward Training Concepts. I do have a website. It's sonnypuzikas.com. I do have a YouTube channel, which is Forward Training Concepts by Sonny Puzikas. So if people want to look up, I'm controversial. I use bad language. I I tend to not quite go with the flow, of accepted status quo. I don't do it just because I want to be different.
You believe
I don't
it.
know.
You believe it. What you
I,
say.
like with James Yeager from Tactical Response, right?
Yep.
As James says, we're average friends. We're actually pretty decent friends. Yet we have disagreements about 80% of training.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't make us enemies,
No,
and this is one of the things that I want to implore people to pay attention to. Just because someone doesn't like me or I don't like him doesn't mean that that person doesn't have anything to offer.
exactly. You could still be friends, just disagree.
Exactly. So
Absolutely.
if you're interested in training, be it combatives, be it knives, be it guns, be it close quarters, be it low light or force on force, or some other more sinister stuff, you'll find a way to find me. There's not that many Russians with Texas accents out there getting trained in
That's
East Texas. So we are out of mind, out of sight here. It is a private range. It's not a public range. Eventually, we will build a big indoor training facility here, God willing. And and I do travel. I teach seminars. I'm going to places like, be it
I
Tennessee
saw
or
that.
Pennsylvania or Arizona or
You've
Utah.
been to St. Louis in 2011, I saw.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to St. Louis. I mean, the closest I've come to St. Louis lately, I did a small seminar in Chicago about a year and a half ago, and I've done some stuff just north of Indianapolis,
Okay.
south of Indianapolis. So that's the closest I've been as far as training to St. Louis since, I believe, 2011 or 2012. So it's been a while.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and share your training on my page, definitely Holly on my Facebook, and I look forward to training with you. Currently train at Tactical Response, and I also train at Ultimate Defense, my home range here, and I look forward to training with you as well.
Sounds good, Holly. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much again, Sony, and I look forward to getting together again and doing another Facebook Live.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for listening in, and I will post that information on Definitely Holly on my Facebook. All right. Bye.
Bye.